Hi there and welcome to the Press Gallery, Edmonton Journal's weekly politics podcast, the Exorcism Edition. Woo! Oh my goodness. It is October 30th, 2014. I'm your host, Sarah O'Donnell. I'm an editorial writer with the Journal, and with me on this Halloween week, hence all the spooky sounds, to talk about the events that may be haunting some in Alberta politics are columnist Paula Simons.
Hello, Sarah.
Senior reporter Sheila Pratt.
Hello.
And provincial affairs columnist Graham Thomson.
Hello.
The results are in for the 4 by-elections. We'll talk about Alberta's newest crop of rookie MLAs. I kind of like calling them rookie MLAs. We'll also talk about what those results say about the various parties and their leaders. And the Premier wasted no time getting back on the announcement trail after the by-elections. And so I'd like to dig into some of these latest promises and find out if they're scary or just ghoulishly good ideas. Let's begin, though, back in by-election territory. By now, I'm sure most listeners know that the Progressive Conservatives won all 4 of these big city by-elections. That means that, 1, Graham was bang on in his predictions last week, and I was wrong. I was wrong, I admit it, with my estimation that the Wild Rose would snag 2 wins in Calgary ridings. The other thing that means, second thing, Jim Prentice managed to pull off the kind of win that I didn't think would be possible again for the PCs ever in the safest of ridings. So, guys, how did Jim Prentice and the Progressive Conservatives do this? How did they win these 4 by-elections?
I think he did manage to reframe the narrative in terms of a new government under new management. And that, plus, of course, some of these ridings were very safe ridings. And he also did put in the Minister of Education, Minister of Health, that actually helped, I think, Gordon Dirks quite a lot in Calgary Elbow. The vote there was split in Elbow, because the Alberta Party did really well, and so did the Wild Rose. And the Liberals did relatively well. They could have actually won that with the Alberta Party if it had gone a little bit differently. Anyway, having said all that, Prentice did manage to reframe the narrative in terms of a new management moving forward. And also, I think that the opposition was targeting Redford too much. That was yesterday's Premier. I think Prentice did manage to convince people that he had something new to offer. And also, just one last thing, there's that default setting in Alberta politics. People want a reason to vote Progressive, Conservative, and he gave them a reason yet again.
I think, if we're going with the Halloween theme, too, this is also the trick-or-treat election. There were a lot of treats, especially in Gordon Dirks' riding of Calgary Elbow, where magically school portables appeared in schools in Calgary Elbow that weren't even high up the list of schools that needed school portables. So there were, when you're the sitting government and you can be writing the checks during by-election campaigns, that's a very powerful lever to have. So that helped. But I think also, Jim Prentice looks premierial, and maybe that's just a costume in the Halloween theme, we don't know yet, but he managed to convince people that he looked like a guy who was a moderate, fiscal, conservative, pragmatic, responsible leader. We'll see whether people still believe that this next Halloween.